So we just got a lead in which I'm going to use as a bit of a profile builder to build out a list of companies that look similar to that lead. Now, why would I be doing that? Well, if we think about the last company to buy our product or to inquire about buying our product, we could think of a whole different variety of reasons why they would be doing that. And obviously, we don't know them all, but we pretty much can guarantee that if one person has bought it, then people that have got a similar profile are going to be at least interested in having a discussion about it. So the theory has got some good foundations to it, and I refer to it as last in, first out. So the last lead in dictates the first prospect out. So I'm going to use Contact Enhance to do this, and Contact Enhance does something that is quite unusual. When you put an email address, a company name or a domain name into Contact Enhance, it will analyze that company, even though you've only provided it with a single field like the company name. It will analyze it and find all sorts of information out about it. So it finds the address, so where it's based. It finds out what it does in terms of the company, what the company does, how big the company is, and it takes all that information. Then it looks across other databases to find prospects. So I'm just going to sign in. Once I've signed it in, I'm going to be able to get this going. So we use Salesforce, and Salesforce ties in with Contact Enhance using Zapier, and it tells us all sorts of information. So we don't actually have to do anything manually. When a lead comes in to Salesforce via the web to lead form, Zapier connects to Contact Enhance to find out all the information we need about it, brings it back and puts it into custom fields. So we get a lot of the information that we need from that. And I know that in this particular one, it is SIC code 63110, which is marketing agencies. I can see from their annual return that they're a small business as well. So I'm going to click on contact search. I'm going to type in managing director, and then I'm going to type in 63110. And then I'm going to select, in terms of annual revenue, I'm going to select 1, 2, 3. Let's say up to £1 million of revenue. Then I'm going to put MDs at agencies, like so, and I'm going to save that query. Then I am going to click find. And what it's going to do now is it's going to look through all the data that it has to a disposable. So great, it's down to 35 records. So I don't want to have loads of records. A lot of companies that are doing email marketing, they're using thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of email addresses to generate leads. I'm trying to come back from that. I'm trying to target very specific companies, very specific contacts at companies, with a very relevant message. And from 35 emails, I'd like to generate 1 or 2 leads. If I can do that, then I'm really happy, because I reduce the unsubscribes on my list. It works in so many areas. I protect the reputation of my IP addresses, so much stuff. So in order to do that, I just need to select those records and then click generate link. That's now generated a link for them. There it is. And if I click on download, if I click CTRL download and then save link as, then that's going to save it as a CSV to my computer here. So I'm just going to put that into my downloads folder and click save. So yeah, let's just click save there. And when I've done that, I am going to see that that has saved the file. So just maybe need to move me out of the way there. Yep, saved it. So there it is. So now when I open that file, I am going to see that we have got some contacts with email addresses and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we've got the first name, we've got the surname, we've got the website, we've got the company name, the telephone number, the job title, so senior decision maker, and the function is the managing director. The country is the UK, 1 to 5, there's a 10 to 19, and then the annual revenue with the email address over here. There's a couple of generics in there, which I don't mind. Smaller businesses do tend to use generics, but you can choose to remove those if you want. And then, of course, there's some personalised emails. And because these are limited companies, PLCs, I'm able to use legitimate interest as my legal basis for approaching those companies, those contacts, as long as, obviously, I include a link to my privacy policy in my email and an unsubscribe. So that gives you guys an idea of how it is that I'm going to run a campaign to them. I can now, of course, go to any one of the different platforms that I'm using, and I can upload that list and create a message for them. Now, the beauty of creating a message just to 35 people is that you can make it really relevant. So, for instance, I could say that I'm looking to see whether or not they'd be interested, because I know that they're an agency, whether or not, and I know that they're a smaller agency, whether or not they'd be interested in XYZ products, and I can really drill in that the smaller the audience, the more relevant you can make your email. The wider the audience, the less relevant it is. So the lower the open rate, the lower the engagement, lower the click-through. That typically tends to be what's happening. And we don't want that. We want to have high open rates, we want to have high click-through rates, high engagement, and high conversions. What we often do, and we have a look at this sometimes, is that you can actually create a product specifically for those 35 contacts that wouldn't be relevant to anybody else. You know that it is specifically relevant to those contacts. Then you can put that product in front of those people to get even higher open rates and engagement. So that gives you a bit of an idea there as to how it is that I've done the that campaign. And as you can see, it probably only took me about 15, well, less than that, probably only took me about 5 minutes to get the data. Probably take me another 10, 15 minutes to write the copy for that, upload the data into the platform, send it. So about half an hour. We try and do this once a day, at least once a day, in fact, a micro campaign like this. Micro campaigns, small audiences, highly relevant content. And they do provide some really good results. You can expect an open rate of somewhere, you should be looking for open rates of at least, after you've done some testing to make sure your subject lines are working and stuff, you should be looking at open rates to cold data of about 12% plus. So I've had open rates as high as probably 64%. Open rates as low as 7%, but that's only because we've had to do some learnings. Open rates normally get up to about 12% quite quickly. So if you're sending out to 35 contacts, you're looking at about 3 or 4 of those people opening the email and having a look, and you need one of those people to reply. Don't be too worried if you get a response from somebody saying this isn't actually of interest to us, because that means that they have received the email, they've opened the email, because it was relevant to them, and then they've looked through the email, but actually the product that we're offering is not something they need right now. But you have at least created a relationship there. I don't like to go straight in with a sales email when I'm doing this. I like to go in with an introductory email. And if you think about LinkedIn and the way in which the LinkedIn formula works for generating inquiries into your business, it's about creating relationships. So the first thing that you do is you reach out to somebody via a connection request, asking them whether or not they'd be happy to join your network, or saying, I'd love to add you to my network, and then they accept that. And what I try to do is follow the same process using email. So we send out an email and we say something along the lines of, I'd like to connect with you by email. We're a shredding company. We're based in Leeds. This is our contact details on LinkedIn. This is where we are on Twitter. I'd love to get to know you guys, get to know a little bit more about what you do. And we don't do much sales. We don't do any sales really in the body of the email. That person knows what it is that we do from just having a look at who the emails come from. They have a look at the subject line, so they know a little bit about you there. They know a little bit about you from the email body, but where they do seem to get a lot of understanding is in the email signature. So your email signature needs to be really, really good. That email signature needs to give them a link to your website. You can even put in there next to your first name and last name, space dash space. You can put helping businesses generate less waste, less commercial waste, or whatever it is that you're doing. So they can understand what it is that you're doing from an email that is actually just designed to create a relationship. It's not designed to sell. You may get them clicking through to LinkedIn and connecting with you. You may get them clicking through to your website and having a little read through, then potentially even completing that contact form or coming back and replying to you. The nice thing about that is that after you've gone through this process, you can then continue to send emails to these people infrequently, frequently, however you want to do it, just to let them know what's going on with you guys and asking them a little bit about what's going on with their business, and they can unsubscribe at any time. Now, what's really interesting about that is that you are now building up a relationship, and if you're advertising to those types of companies on LinkedIn and the other places like Facebook, you will very quickly start to get lots of different touch points with that client. And if they do at some point need a company to help them with their recycling or commercial waste, you're there, you've been talking to them, they know where you're based, they know what you do, you've got a bit of relationship. They might dig that email out a couple of months later, reply saying, look, we've got a bit of an issue here with one of our surgeries, can you help us get rid of some of the waste there? So do you see how that works? It is a slow burn, you are developing relationships, but that's what you're doing on LinkedIn, it's what you're doing on Facebook, it's what you're doing on Twitter, you're developing relationships. So why not do that with email? And that's what it is that we've been doing, and it is something that we're testing pretty heavily now. So that gives you an idea a little bit about that. I've got so many other videos in this channel that are covering off how to open your email, how to increase your open rates, how to enhance your data, so much other stuff, which you can have a look at, and those videos are coming up now. I will talk to you next Friday. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe and click notifications so you can see when my Friday videos come out. Okay, bye.